Please remember to do your part to help prevent the spread of COVID-19. Wash your hands. Avoid touching your face, including mouth, nose, and eyes. Cover your coughs and sneezes. If you don't feel well, monitor your symptoms and consult with your doctor. Social distancing is key, so please stay home. Looking for a social outlet? You can also send letters to Leuven at dm@dndraw.com right now. Also, there's a link in the description to our Discord server, where we love to hang out and chat with listeners. We are glad that we can stay connected in these times. We also hope our characters' adventures provide a fun gateway and are glad you are joining us on the journey. And we especially want to thank our Adventurer tier and above patrons for their support this month. So thank you, a Linux Fan, Feral Joe, Grimfuse, Naked and Afraid, Mosiru, Shosuro Ajo, Mike C., Jeremy Kleinhans, Ryan Rea Vermette, and William McCracken. If you enjoy the adventures of our characters in Ostia and our show about the rules for 5th edition, you too can support us on Patreon. For just $1 a month, you can get exclusive content and updates. Higher tiers get DM's notes, bloopers from our episodes, and to add an item or NPC to a D&D our episode. We are especially grateful to our producer tier patrons who listen to our audio before anyone else to give feedback and shape the final episode. We want to give a special thanks to Christopher Reinert for serving as a producer on this episode. Support us on Patreon at patreon.com/DNDRaw. Next week will be our mailbag episode after the Arc 1 wrap-up. Join us now for Rumble Squad, episode 35. We're only mortals after all. With me today are the following players.
Hi, I'm Chris, and I will be playing Auric Fireforge, the Hill Dwarf Forge Cleric.
Hi, I'm Nick, and I will be playing Leuven Cromdell, the half-elf alchemist artificer.
Hey, I'm Rachel, and I will be playing Elaine Fox, the human druid barbarian.
Last time, the battle for Boulder's lands had begun. As Rumble Squad was holding back the Hobgoblin forces, the Fortune-born took the field, and slowly, Rumble Squad began to feel the toll of this prolonged battle as their resources were quickly being depleted. This hill giant is going to start running up. You see it reach down and pick up a rock. Yeah, it's going to hurl it at you, Auric. As it comes crashing and bouncing into the dirt towards you, Auric, you lift your shield, duck slightly as it hits the dirt in front of you, clangs off your shield, and skims above you. This group of hobgoblins off to the side, though, you see all of them but one has longbows out. They pull back. 5 of them are going to shoot towards you, Elaine. As this volley goes out, 4 out of the 5 hit, taking a total of 19 piercing damage. You hold your shield up and catch one, but all the rest slice and stab into you. And then 5 shots towards you, Auric, as the one that doesn't have, by the way, a bow out, seems to be issuing commands. This volley goes out towards you, Auric. You hold your shield up and you feel slam after slam against it. One slices slightly into your side, and as you flinch a little bit from the attack, a second one cracks into your shoulder. You take 15 points of piercing damage.
Am I able to use my reaction to fling the stone back at him?
You can just hit that one.
So a total of 20.
Yeah, that hits.
11.
So as soon as he hits your shoulder, you instinctively feel the earth and push your hand forward as a rock flies into the air and cracks into the side of his head, and he crumples to the ground. The rest of the hobgoblins, as well-trained as they are, do not even flinch at the death of their comrade, by the way. You notice one of the figures towards the back just moves up a little bit, seems to issue commands, and 2 hobgoblins seem to be running in a circle around on the far eastern side, going around you. And then moving towards the ones over by Elaine and all of the Galabdur, the ogre is going to focus on the Galabdur. just takes a fist and goes to punch at the Galabdur. And that is going to hit for 16 points of bludgeoning, reduced to 8. Meanwhile, the Hobgoblin caster is going to get up. You see him stretch his hands out, focus, and clap them together as he casts Thunder Wave. I need the Galabdur to make a Constitution saving throw.
24.
It would be 29 points of thunder damage, reduced to 14. The other caster is getting really tired of the Galabdurs being a problem here, and he's going to just magic missile at a high level, and takes a total of 15 points of force damage.
My Galabdur?
Yes. 2 of the hobgoblins are going to attack your Galabdur with their longswords. They hit, they hack at this thing, and just wipe out the Galabdur. This hobgoblin, who is a bit better armored, is going to take a step to the side, but hurl a javelin at you, Elaine. He does hit, but deals 3 piercing damage.
I am also going to use my bonus reaction to whack him with a stone.
Make your attack roll.
So does a 20 hit?
That does hit. So by the way, Elaine, you are close enough now. You see he is wearing half plate.
So 6 points of bludgeoning damage.
So as he hurls this javelin that slices across your shoulder, you instinctively reach out as a rock just cracks into his own shoulder, spins him, and drops him to the ground for a second as he is prone. Elaine.
I'm going to go about 20 feet, kind of northwest. I have a couple more javelins on me, so I'll pull out another one.
Who are you throwing at?
The northernmost hobgoblin.
Make your attack roll.
Does a 22 hit? 5 points of piercing damage as I huck it at him.
So you hurl the javelin as he tries to bring his shield up. It slices across his arm. Okay, that brings us to your Galabdur.
Tuck and roll, he's going to barrel towards the other spellcaster. Does a 15 hit?
Yes.
14 points of bludgeoning. He has to make a 16 DC strength saving throw, or he is not prone.
He rolled well this time.
So regular slam tack then. Does a 20 hit, good sir?
20 hits.
And another 10 for the second.
Slams into him and cracks him across the side. He's able to stay standing on his feet, and I mean barely after that second hit, but he's still standing. Auric.
I will move, and then I'm going to use for my action that cool earthquakey skill.
So that's a hobgoblin captain and 4 hobgoblins and 2 of the Iron Shadows. All right. So go ahead and roll your do damage first.
So a total of 11 damage.
So the earth erupts. You see the 2 Iron Shadows much quicker than the hobgoblins behind him kind of dodge and weave. They get smacked around by this earth that just blasts out of the ground, but they avoid most of the hits. The remaining hobgoblins seem emboldened and a bit more aware of what's going on as they take some of the hits but avoid most of the damage. One of them, though, you basically erupted it directly beneath him, and he just gets crushed and flung up into the air for a moment, ragdolls, and smacks into the ground.
All right, and then for my bonus action, I'm going to move my spiritual weapon, and then it will attack that captain guy who is still prone.
He is currently prone, so it does have advantage, yes.
Does a 23 hit?
23 does hit.
7 force damage.
Auric, off to the side, you focus on your spiritual weapon, have it slam down on this captain. You hear the resounding force of the blow, even from this distance. Then that brings us to your Galabdur.
He's going to kind of move down and invoke a attack of opportunity from the hobgoblin, and then slam into the front of the southernmost mage.
So one of the hobgoblins goes to swing as you roll past him towards the caster in the back. Make your attack roll.
Does a 14 hit?
A 14 does hit.
18 bludgeoning.
So you roll in and just crush this other hobgoblin caster. Leuven.
I'm using an erupting earth. It's going to go for the caster, the 2 hobgoblins, and also the ogre.
They actually all save, so they're going to take half damage, and they're not knocked prone.
10 and then halved to 5.
A blast of earth erupts from the ground as you focus your energy that Boulder has given you and just crush one of the hobgoblins. The other one is holding his shield up and takes a
blow and seems like bloodied from the strike. The ogre seems mostly okay. The caster is looking rough. Cloudfarer?
I'm staying stationary.
Okay. Boulder is going to continue to lash out using Nature's Wrath. He will kill one of the archer hobgoblins that are to the east. And there's another hobgoblin that was currently on fire, or was about to be on fire, but is also killed. For the Iron Shadows, how far is he from you, Auric? You see, as he's running towards you, he reaches kind of into like his belt, and 4 darts fly out at you. You take a total of 21 points of piercing damage. Would you like to do anything?
Yes, I would.
Go ahead and do that.
So 23 to hit. 7 points of damage.
So as he hurls these 4 darts at you, one just deflects harmlessly off of your armor. The other 4 slice and hack a little bit into your leg and your arm and your side. But in response, you hurl this boulder towards him. As you crack him across the shoulder, he spins and almost tumbles into the dirt. Still alive, but prone on the ground, 20 feet from you. The other one, you see, seems to focus on a spell that you've seen Leuven do before, as his speed suddenly is enhanced, and he dashes in a bonus action. But he is heading straight for Boulder. He does, you see on his turn, seem to take a defensive stance, however. The giant, as it's running, you see it go, it picks up a rock and hurls the rock at you. Reaches down, grabs a rock, and hurls it at you. This one, though, you pick your shield up, it slams against your shield and spins you, dealing 26 points of bludgeoning damage.
I'm still up, but not by much.
Just moving some of the hobgoblins around. The 5 that are directly behind the hill giant, they start to move up, and the ones who had targeted you originally, Elaine, are all going to take a shot at you. Out of all these, 2 do hit, however. You take a total of 14 piercing damage. As 5 arrows go out, you, being aware of the enemies over there, kind of duck and deflect 3 of them as one slices across your arm, the other across your leg. The captain is just staying behind, but moving with his forces. Someone else towards the back here is just slowly moving up. Elaine, you can see he is a lone hobgoblin. He seems to have a shield. It's hard to tell too much more from this distance. Then there's all of the various hobgoblins around this left side here. The caster is going to... Then he's going to blast them with a lightning bolt. I need both you guys to roll a dex save for your Gallop Doors.
6.
13.
So, Elaine, yours takes 19 points of lightning damage. Oryx, yours takes 9. The ogre is going to move up to the nearest Gallop Door and attempt to punch it in the face. Not with an 11.
Yes.
Good.
Let me see how many hobgoblins can get near you, Elaine, because they're going for you. So there will be 4 attacks against you. However, they could not get enough movement to get flanking on you. Every single one missed.
Yeah.
Nice.
So 4 hobgoblins run towards you, Elaine, all with long swords drawn. The first one gets to you and goes to swing. You spin and deflect it to the side with your shield. As a second one comes up, you raise your shield just in time as the blade comes down and you push it off of you. The third one, as it's coming forward, you shift your foot and catch its knee slightly as it seems to slip and slice into its own arm. As the shield kind of catches to yours, it slices through, missing you completely and hurts itself. The fourth one, you kind of turn and push the other against it to deflect the next strike as it rolls to the side and quickly gets to its feet, as 4 hobgoblins are currently going toe-to-toe with you.
That's right.
That is all of the enemy's turns. Elaine, you're up.
I am going to use my bonus action to actually do an earthquake around me to try to knock them all prone.
The first one that went to attack you is so off his feet that he trips and falls as your foot taps the ground. And the last one that you had thrown one of your assailants at seems to keep... He, rolls and tries to get up, but stumbles and falls to his feet as the earth shakes. So 2 of them are prone that are right next to you.
I'm going to go to the first one that tried to attack me, and I am going to Primal Savagery his face.
All right, make your attack roll with advantage.
17 to hit.
That hits.
So 8 acid damage as I just... My fingernails lengthen into claws that are, dripping with acid, and I just rake it across his face.
He just twitches and stops moving. That brings it to your Gallop Door's turn.
So my Galabdur, he is going to take 1 loud stomp next up to the ogre, and he is going to do his 2 slam attacks. So the first one is a 14.
14 hits.
So 7 points of bludgeoning damage. And then the next one is an 18, which will obviously hit, and it does 9 points of bludgeoning damage.
So your Galabdur lumbers forward and just 1-2 punch as it like does the boxing thing and just slams into the ribs twice as the ogre kind of like stumbles back a little bit. You see it drop its like big crossbow bolt looking thing and just like holds its sides, but it's still up. So Auric.
I am first going to cast Cure Wounds on myself as a 2nd level spell.
All right, roll your 2d8.
So 17 I heal.
Okay. This divine energy courses through you again. Feeling a bit better.
For my bonus action, I have my spiritual weapon. So he is going to move up next to the captain guy and swing at him. Does a 24 hit.
You know what? It just does.
Sweet. He only does 4 points of damage.
He's bloodied for sure. Then that's your Galabdur's turn.
So he is going to just do slam attack.
2 attack rolls.
18 hit.
18 hits.
So 12 bludgeoning damage. And then he does it again. Does a 27 hit.
27 hits.
9 damage.
As Elaine's Galabdur does the 1-2 to the ribs and it takes a step back, yours goes up, whacks across one of the same ribs and then under the jaw, and it takes a couple of steps back. It's hurt. It's not down yet, though. Leuven.
Let me ask if all of this can be done in a turn. What I want to do is land beside Auric, take the healing draught that I have, and extend it out towards him, but meanwhile also take an action to do my final Erupting Earth on some enemies.
You can't do both.
Then I am going to prioritize Auric.
You can literally feed it to him as your action.
Yeah, I'm going to do that.
Cloudfarer dives towards Auric. Go ahead and roll your healing, Leuven.
That is 10 healing.
Auric, you see Boulder kind of like look in your general direction and extend a hand towards you. You heal 11 HP.
Nice.
All right, so you see again, still, Elaine, you're looking around, and the trees and the vines are still lashing out at the enemies nearest them as nature's wrath continues. All right, so that was Boulder's turn. His Galabdur are going to notice the person running directly for Boulder and kind of start to go to intercept. And then it's all the enemies' turns. So, first, that Iron Shadow is going to get up. It is going to bonus action cast Expeditious Retreat on itself and go right up to you, Auric, because you're trying to stop his friend. And it's going to attempt to punch you 4 times. Auric, as you have recovered, this hobgoblin runs towards you at a full sprint and starts to attack you in a flurry of strikes. Each one, though, gets deflected and blocked and dodged as punch after kick after knee just bounces and deflects off of your shield and armor. This Iron Shadow is going to pull away from both of the Galabdur, because he needs to be at a certain range, and they are both going to make attack rolls against him. Both smack against him, and he's like struggling to keep going, but he pulls 4 darts out as he kind of clambers up because he can't quite get high enough to Boulder, but hurls all 4 at Boulder. Only 1 hits, though.
Yeah, because Boulder's like 30 feet up in the air, right?
Yeah. So he gets struck, and it doesn't seem like he took a ton of damage from it, but enough to break his concentration.
Caught him off guard.
Yeah. One of the hobgoblins that's kind of on his own is moving up and taking a shot at Boulder himself. These other grouping over here is going to shift over and take some pot shots at you, Elaine. So 5 shots towards you, Elaine. The first one hits for 2 points of piercing damage.
I will bonus action rock at his face. Does a 22 hit, sir?
It hits. What's the damage?
Ooh, 9 points of damage as it smashes him.
Yep, it smashes him. So the first one slices your arm slightly. The second one hits you dead center in the chest. You take 10 points of piercing damage from that one. The third one stabs you just below your ribs for 6 points of piercing damage. The fourth, you bring your shield up and bash it to the side, but that opens you up as the fifth slices your ribs on the other side for 9 points of piercing damage.
Is Elaine down?
I have 1 hit point.
Oh dear!
Moving! Moving!
That might change what I'm doing. All right.
I need 3 con saves for the flaming sphere.
10, 17, and 12.
So you hold the concentration on that flaming sphere. All right, that was that grouping. The hill giant's turn. He's going for the person that, like, he was trying to kill, which is Auric. So, with big, happy grin on his face, he goes and swings this massive club at you. Both attacks hit. 21 and 19.
So I have 1 health.
Yes.
Oh, dear.
As this thing brings its great club down, it cracks against one shoulder, or it kind of dropping your guard to hit you against the stomach as you stumble slightly and collapse down to one knee, kind of picking yourself up.
I would like to use my reaction move. Is 17 to hit.
17 hits, roll your damage.
10 damage.
So you crack it in the side of the head and it kind of stumbles back in confusion and looks around like, where did that come from? You see Elaine, this one figure, just calmly making his way towards Boulder. The ones around you, Elaine, are all going to make an attack against you.
If any of them hit, I'm down.
So, Elaine, after that barrage of arrows that just sliced into you, the other hobgoblins are coming up, swords drawn, and you just bash one across the wrist to deflect, block another one with your shield, and just kind of lean back as a third swipes its sword, like slicing your armor slightly, but not hitting you. The caster is going to focus on taking out the Galabdur. I need a dex save from both Galabdur as a mote of flame is launched behind them and blasts out for a fireball. What was Elaine's?
14.
Oryx?
17.
Save. So you take 15 points of fire damage each for your Galabdur. And then the ogre is going to punch. We'll go with Oryx Galabdur, but misses. At the end of all of this, Boulder, kind of seeing the surrounding, just says, "Try to get to me if you can." Elaine.
Bonus action. Move my sphere and bonk.
I mean, he rolled an 8 on his dex.
So he takes 7 points of fire damage.
So you pull the flaming sphere towards you as it rolls over one of the hobgoblins that was attempting to strike you. He was not paying attention as it just incinerates him.
And I will do Cure Wounds on myself.
Roll your healing.
10 points!
As you put a hand to your chest and feel some energy get back to you. It is your Galabdur's turn.
He is going to start slamming the ogre in front of him. First slam for a hit of 20. 12 points of damage. Second one, 14 to hit.
14 hits.
15 more points of damage.
And with a final crack, the ogre drops.
He is going to start shambling towards the caster.
Auric.
What is it to disengage? Is that a full...
It's an action.
Okay. I'm going to do that and move up next to Boulder.
So you're 30 feet below him, but you are up by Boulder. You disengage and pull back as you swing your shield wide at the two enemies, and they recoil, expecting an attack as you pull away.
Yep. I'm going to cast Healing Word on myself. I heal 7.
Okay. Your Galabdur's turn.
Smash! Does a 13 hit?
A 13 just hits.
Excellent. That does 23 bludgeoning damage.
There is a red mist now where this hobgoblin caster once stood, as the Galabdur rolls and just slams into him.
Oh, good.
Ugh.
Leuven.
I'm gonna throw an acid vial at the iron shadow nearest Boulder.
There's a natural 1.
That is 9 acid damage.
You hurl this acid vial sidearm and just crack it into the back of the iron shadow as it just singes and you see him collapse to the ground, smoldering.
I'm just gonna say Cloudfare evasive maneuvers 5 feet up.
Okay, so what's Cloudfare doing?
Now flying, is 5 feet in the air and taking the dodge action.
It is Boulder's turn. Auric, you're the only one anywhere nearby. He is going to focus his energy and seems to release a spell towards you again, but he might be holding a more powerful spell when all of you arrive. You heal by 20 HP.
Ooh, nice.
You see him as an action. He reaches out and seems to hurl a boulder towards this hill giant, which does hit. All right, so the hill giant takes some damage. Goblins are going to start moving up. This grouping is going to kind of try and get between you, Elaine, and everyone else. Leuven, since you are 5 feet up, you see a figure in plate walking calmly straight towards where Boulder is.
Okay.
The archers that have been moving are going to shift their attention to you, Leuven. 5 arrows fired at you, Leuven. 4 hit. Total of 21 points of damage. 4 con saves.
20, 17, 9.
All right, Shield of Faith falls.
Okay.
Meanwhile, this captain is putting himself between you, Elaine, and the rest of the group. And the 2 hobgoblins nearest you don't want to burn, so they're going to try and flank you. Both hit. You take a total of 10 points of slashing
I'm
damage.
back down to 1 hit point again, guys.
All right. Still hanging in.
Then that just leaves the Iron Shadow and the Hill Giant. The Iron Shadow is going to... And he's going to try and pummel you, Auric. So 4 attacks against you, Auric. 1 hits out of the 4. So the first one comes out and smacks your shoulder for 6 points of bludgeoning damage. As you bring your shield up, the other 3 just bounce off your shield.
I'm using my reaction to throw a boulder at that guy. So does a 26 hit?
Yes.
8 points of damage.
So he gets smacked across the shoulder and spins, kind of like catches himself, but he's still up. Meanwhile, Leuven, as the hill giant watches its tasty dwarf run away, its eyes track up to this flying thing, and you just slams its great club down on the ground twice and just takes a swing. First one against you. I crit. Auric,
Uh-huh.
you watch as this thing whacks Leuven, the ropes snap, and Leuven falls unconscious. For 42 points of damage.
Hate that guy.
And then he's going to swing at Cloudfarer as he slams down and Cloudfarer dodges out of the way, but Leuven's body lifts off the ground from the initial slam.
So regarding Cloudfarer, does it still have the ability to act on its own?
It will defend itself.
Okay.
That is everyone's turn. Elaine, you're up.
Thunder Wave. Would it be able to hit both of them?
I would allow it because it is a cube.
DC Constitution saving throw.
One rolled a 13, the other rolled a 9, so
So they both take 6 points of damage and are pushed 10 feet back. Thank you very much.
Elaine, you take a step back and clap your hands together as a blast pushes both of these hobgoblins back. They kind of stumble, tuck, and roll right next to the flaming sphere.
I can move another 25 feet straight north just to try to get some distance. And I'll go ahead and rage for my bonus action, so that will drop Flaming Sphere.
And it's your Galabdur's turn.
And I'll just move him his 30 feet.
So you're moving him closer to the hobgoblins.
Yep.
Auric.
With my action, I'm going to use the last remaining erupting ever.
So you're getting the main body of archer hobgoblins.
Yep. Trying to take out those guys for 19 damage.
1 saved, 3 were killed, and the captain is knocked prone.
Nice.
Nice.
As this final use of erupting earth from you, Auric, just blasts the ground. The archer's kind of still standing a bit, but he's bloodied.
Bonus action, I will cast Healing Word on Leuven. For 5 health, he gets healed.
Leuven, as air returns to your lungs, you take a deep breath in, almost immediately to cough up some more blood. You kind of look, your side's a bit dented.
Ow.
It really still hurts. You are conscious. Okay, your Galabdur?
He is going to move 60 feet.
So the Galabdur dashes and kind of unfurls as it stands between 2 of the hobgoblins and you, Elaine. Leuven, air is back in your lungs. Everything, and I mean everything, hurts right now, but you are up.
First thing I do is stand up. I'm going to use my final erupting earth to try and just put a big dent in this thing.
It takes full damage. Okay, so another blast as erupting earth encompasses the area around the hill giant and just slams it over and over again for
12 damage.
However, as this thing, Leuven, you see for a moment, it looks like it's about to fall on you as it just crumples to the ground, getting slammed over and over again by various rock and stone.
As a bonus action, I draw a healing draught. Cloudfarer, go bring Elaine over to Boulder.
So it is moving out of the reach of the hill giant. It is going to attack at disadvantage against Cloudfarer. It does hit for a bad roll of 14 points of damage.
Cloudfarer's still up. 2 HP.
So as Cloudfarer takes off, its wing gets smacked and it holds its height. It like dives, almost hitting the ground, holds itself, flaps its wing a couple times, and arrives at Elaine. It still has an action technically, but it could hold its action for Elaine to get on Cloudfarer and then dash.
Yes.
Boulder is going to see the situation. Elaine, you are too far still. As he releases a burst of healing energy, Auric and Leuven, you both heal by 20 HP. He's going to fling a boulder at this Iron Shadow.
The one right next to me?
Yes. Splat.
Nice.
And he just flings a boulder and it slams into this Iron Shadow and just crushes it. Hill Giant is going to get up. It's going to swing at you, Leuven. 1 hit, 1 miss. The first hit is 23 points of bludgeoning damage.
I'm still up with 2.
All right, the captain is going to get up from prone and start to pull towards the Hill Giant. He's just moving up, calmly, focused. The archer is going to take a pot shot at you, Elaine. Arrow fires. You turn and just bat it aside with your shield. But he is going to just barely get out of that area. Hobgoblin captain. Actually, he's just going to keep moving because he sees the bird. The other 2 hobgoblins, that one can't get up to you. So he's going to start kind of circling and just dash towards his captain. The 2 hobgoblins that got thunder waved earlier are just making moves towards getting to Boulder. This little hobgoblin that's hiding off to the side is taking pot shots at Boulder, but that misses Boulder. Elaine,
Question.
it's just your movement to get on Cloudfarer.
Yes. I'm raging. I'm going to whip out Javelin of Lightning, yell incoming, and shoot it at Fortuneborn. Straight line.
On a straight line, you would hit. I would allow both those hobgoblins and the Hill Giant, the 2 hobgoblins that had been harassing you. Go ahead and first roll your damage.
So the damage lightning is 12 points of lightning damage.
He doesn't make a save on it, so his is just whether it hits or not.
24.
So the first hobgoblin is incinerated. Did not see that coming. Second hobgoblin is incinerated. Saw it coming and still died. The Hill Giant rolled a 2 on its save. The Fortuneborn sees it coming, turns his shield as it skims the top and hits his shoulder.
Yes. 5 piercing. And now I'm his target, so I'm going to hop on the bird and fly away.
As the javelin hits his shoulder and spins him slightly, electricity courses through him, and he flinches a bit and looks right towards you. Because it's using its reaction, it's just going to move its 80 feet, and you are not quite at Boulder, but it angled slightly up to get you above the hobgoblin, so it would not get hit. You're Galabdor.
He is going to duck and roll, I guess. So he can go 60 feet if he dashes. Yep, that's all he's going to be able to do is just roll up.
All right, that brings us to you, Auric.
I am going to move, and I am going to cast my Spirit Guardians.
Then it's your Galabdor's turn. By the way, Auric, so you are now close enough to clearly see this hobgoblin, who is wearing full plate, wielding a shield in one hand, and you see a long sword in the other as he strides very calmly still into this fight.
And I will have my Galabdur move right up next to Elaine's.
Leuven, you're up.
Gonna chuck my healing draught as a bonus action. 9 back. I'm going to go ahead and throw an acid vial at the hill giant.
Just failed.
13 acid damage.
So you hurl this acid vial that smashes into the hill giant's chest as it kind of like grabs where it burns.
I would tell Cloudfarer to finish bringing Elaine up to Boulder, because that was what Boulder said to do.
Boulder is going to see how things are and go, all right, this should help all of you. And he concentrates a massive amount of healing energy. You all heal 30 HP. Now the enemy's turns. But he is going to fire an arrow at you. That is a crit for 10 points of piercing damage.
You know what? Just for that, I'm going to react against him. 18 to hit
18 hits because he doesn't have a shield up.
for 8 damage.
You focus, and in retaliation for getting stabbed into the shoulder by an arrow, you release this boulder that cracks into the side of his head. Yeah, I'm going to do the Fortuneborn.
So since he
Wisdom
started...
save?
Yep, wisdom save.
He saved.
So he takes 4 damage.
As the spectral energy just slams into him, he is going to take a step towards you and look at you and just... Pitiful dwarf. First, as he takes a step up, his shield comes right towards your face. And it hits. I need you to make a strength saving throw. As the shield bashes your face, you take 5 points of bludgeoning damage.
11.
You are knocked prone. You are still maintaining concentration, even prone, as he takes his longsword and stabs down at you with it. You see, as he stabs down, your shield comes up, and you're confident that you've got the block. But for some reason, your arm caught on something, and the sword still stabs into your shoulder. You take 19 points of slashing damage, and he's going to attack with his sword again. And again, his sword comes down, and you know his strike's coming, and you go to deflect it, but your movement seems slower, or his movement speeds up. You're not sure which, but his form shifts slightly and slices into your side for 18 points of slashing damage. Leuven,
Yeah?
you have a hill giant friend.
Uh-huh.
He's taking a swing. First one hits for 20 points of bludgeoning damage. Second swing, the very air from the swing causes you to roll and fall to your feet and kind of get back up quickly.
Now, this hobgoblin captain is going to go up to you, Auric, and he does enter the spiritual guardian's aura.
That's all his movement to get up to you. But he does succeed. So what's the damage?
10?
You see it blast and pelt him, and he seems to be barely holding together as he gets up to you. And this hobgoblin captain takes his greatsword and swings down towards you, Auric. So he swings down the first one. You bring your shield up. It deflects to the side as the second one slices across your side for 6 points of slashing damage.
I had 5.
No!
Your aura drops. This captain is going to pull away from the Galabdur. Make an attack roll with a Galabdur as a reaction because the other captain pulled away.
Does a 14 hit?
14 misses. Elaine.
I'm gonna use my action to actually crack the earth again. That's 35 points of damage.
As a blast erupts and pummels the hill giant and the Fortuneborn and the hobgoblin captain that's there. The hobgoblin captain cannot be seen. The Fortuneborn is still standing when the dust clears, looking a bit annoyed. The hill giant is prone and so bloodied.
But I will run up next to Auric, get in the Fortuneborn's face.
He just stares at you. There's a calm about him like nothing can touch him. It's your Galabdur's turn.
Okay, so he's gonna roll and bonk into the unconscious.
Make your attack roll with advantage because he's prone.
So a 21 to hit for 18 points of damage.
The Galabdur rolls up and just cracks into the side. And from this close, Elaine, you're pretty sure that rib punctured his heart as the hill giant does not move anymore. Auric, make a death saving throw.
All right.
That is one fail. Your Galabdur can do stuff.
All right. He's going to just plow right into that captain there. 29.
That hits.
23 bludgeoning damage.
The Galabdur rolls up towards the hobgoblin captain and just smacks and splatters him. Leuven.
Well, I am no longer facing down a gigantic smashy of death, so walking up behind Auric and casting a Cure Wounds. That's 9 healing.
All right.
As a bonus action, I do draw a healing draught, and I hold it out towards Elaine since I'm nearby both of them. I'm like, here, take this in case you need it.
So as part of your movement, Elaine, you can take that healing drop. Cloudfarer?
Go attack the archer. That's a 13 for the beak,
Miss.
13 for the talons.
Miss.
Going to try and fly just back to where I was.
He swings a fist, but misses. It's Boulder's turn for Boulder. All right, he's going to use his last mass cure wounds he can do. All right, so you guys get back 12 HP. Now it's all the enemy's turns, which is mainly this hobgoblin taking shots at Boulder. Far away from you guys. He's going to hit Boulder, and then it's the Fortuneborn's turn. He's going to look at you, Elaine, first, smile, and thrust his shield at your face. You don't know how this happened, but you somehow feel like you should have done better. as the shield does bash you in the face and knocks you prone. And you take 7 points of bludgeoning damage. Then he's also going to attack Auric, by the way. Auric, as he strikes down at you, you take 21 points of slashing
Come
damage.
on!
That was your HP.
Yes!
And then he's going to slash at you, Elaine, which hits for 23 points of slashing damage, reduced to 11 because you're raging. He backs away. Elaine, it's your turn.
I stand up. I'm going to use my last crack the earth.
Roll your damage. He does succeed, but
19 damage.
so he's still standing, but he does get pummeled.
I will swipe the bottle from Leuven. Glug, glug, glug. 18 hit points back.
It's your Galabdor's turn.
So roll up and then pop up and be like, ka-chink. That's it.
Auric, your turn. Make a death save.
That's a bad one.
Your Galabdor's turn.
Alright, he is going to roll out. Smash! 11 to hit.
Rolls and he dodges out of the way.
Alright, slam attack. Does a 17 hit.
Yes,
Alright, he takes 15 points of bludgeoning damage.
he is dead. That brings us to you, Leuven.
I use my final spell slot, bring Auric back up. 5 healing. As a bonus action, I will draw another healing draught, and I'm going to move 20 feet north. Right, basically, I'm right next to Cloudfarer now, and I'm going to give Cloudfarer instructions. Give this healing draught to Boulder.
All right, so you hand off the healing draught to Cloudfarer, who is going to do that. Cloudfarer moves up to Boulder and is holding out the healing draught for him.
In case you need it, it'll help. Heal.
Boulder will nod, take it, and chug. Heal up a bit. And he is going to... Yeah, he's going to Maximilian's Earthen Grasp Fortuneborn and see if that works. You see the hand come up to go and grab, and he just slips out of the way. So he is going to pull away from both of your Galabdors. Go ahead and make your opportunity attack.
That would be a nat 20. So that's 16 points of damage.
So as he runs around, you see him crouch and leap up into the air. But he goes for attacks on Boulder. All hit as just slash, slash, slash against Boulder as they're standing on this pedestal. Boulder takes a couple steps back and is hurting real bad as the Fortuneborn then comes down to the ground. Tucks and rolls because he cannot stand on the platform with Boulder. Elaine.
I am going to transform into a giant wolf spider. Charge up. Actually, can I, climb up the column and get kind of like over his head so he can't go straight up? He'll have to go around or something.
Sure. Right above his head?
Yeah, I'll go right above his head, sure.
It's your Galabdor's turn.
Roll out. Bam! Does a 12 hit?
12 misses. So he rolls up and just gets, like, the Fortuneborn takes a step back as it slams into the column, which shakes you a little bit, Elaine, but you have real sticky little legs.
And then a slam attack for 14.
Misses as he just deflects off his armor. Auric.
First thing I'm going to do is stand up. Second thing I'm going to do is cast Heat Metal on the Fortuneborn.
You casting it on his armor?
Oh, yes.
So how much fire damage?
Total of 4.
He seems uncomfortable by it and looks over at you. And then it's your Galabdor's turn.
Shuffle, shuffle, slam. 24. Does that hit this monster?
It does.
So that's 20 bludgeoning damage.
So it slams into him.
All right. Does a 26 hit this monster?
Yes.
Sweet. He gets 10 bludgeoning damage done to him.
Okay. Leuven.
Acid vial.
So he needs to make a dex save. He made it.
Okay, nothing happens.
So you throw the vial and he smashes it to the side against the column.
Cloudfarer, if Boulder hops on, take him due west.
Boulder, he looks at you and says, I cannot leave the source of my power undefended. He will attempt to cast a spell. Yeah, he's gonna cast Flesh to Stone. Never mind, it's not gonna work because he rolled a natural 20. Okay, Fortuneborn is going to look at his situation. Well, I was hoping not to use this, as he pulls a small bead from under his armor and throws it at his feet. I need everyone but Auric to make a dexterity saving throw.
Including Cloudfarer?
Cloudfarer is 30 feet up, you said?
Yes.
By Boulder?
Yes.
Cloudfarer is out of the range.
Okay.
So he will not get hit by a fireball.
7.
21.
What did your Galabdur get?
Mine was a 7.
Auric, did your Galabdur get?
It got a 10.
So Elaine, that was the only success. You take 17 points of fire damage. Everyone else takes 35.
I had 33.
You are unconscious.
So, question, Tony. I was up on this pillar as a spider. I am now no longer a spider.
You fall 5 feet to the ground.
Okay, so I'm standing next to him now.
Yep, that is his turn. Elaine,
I guess I'll just smash at him.
make your attack roll.
A 13 to hit.
13 misses. It's your Galabdor's turn.
He's going to attack.
Make your slam attacks with advantage.
Slam 1. Does a 26 hit, sir?
Yep.
10 points of damage. Another slam. Does a 20 total hit?
No. Auric.
Can I see Leuven from where I'm at currently, or not?
No.
I was say there's a pillar in the way.
You did see a massive blast go out, though, so you know where Leuven was, if you're concerned about him.
I guess for starters, I'll use my bonus action for the heat metal to keep it going.
How much damage?
6 fire damage. I will do Toll the Dead.
They rolled a 17. You guys hear that? All right, that brings us to your Galabdor.
Yep. He will go ahead and just slam, attack with advantage. Yep. Does a 15 hit.
Miss.
All right, try again. Does a 27 hit.
Hits.
9 points of damage.
The slam swings and the shield deflects and clashes into the pillar as the second one swings out, catches him in the shoulder. Elaine, the smile on his face is disconcerting still, but he looks like he's barely standing. Leuven, make a death save.
10.
That is a success. Cloudfarer will continue the action that it was trying to do and defend itself. Boulder is going to healing word you, Leuven. 6 HP.
Okay.
He is, however, basically out of spells. He's going to try and throw a rock at the Fortune. Nope. That brings us to the Fortuneborn, who will pull away.
Attack of opportunity. Does a 24 hit, sir?
Yes.
4 points of slashing damage to him. And then my Galabdor. Does a 25 hit?
Yes.
15 points of bludgeoning damage.
He's still up.
No!
He takes a step back, looks down at Leuven.
I'm prone, aren't I?
Yeah.
He's going to shift around and attack down at Leuven. As he's about to attack you, Leuven, he goes, I will take one of you with me then. He does 23 points of damage.
I'm unconscious.
He attacks again with a hit and 2 failed saves. And he attacks a third time. You see this Fortuneborn just hack at Leuven again and again, smiling the whole way.
That's really disconcerting.
And kind of holds his arms out like, I cannot leave the battlefield without one death on my blade. And just smiles towards the rest of you. Elaine.
I'm going to scream and run at him and just scimitar attack.
You swing and miss. It's your Galabdor's turn.
Roll out.
It's a miss.
He pops up. He's going to slam.
It's a miss. Auric.
So bonus action, heat metal. Takes 5 damage.
How do you want to do this?
I'm gonna have like flames basically erupt out of his armor and just fully engulf him. After he is dead, I will run up to Leuven and cast Revivify with my last level 3 spell slot.
Thank you for saving that.
Leuven, you feel pain. And then, nothing. The pain ceases. Auric, as you run towards Leuven, you reach out to place your hand on him. Release your Revivify, your gift from Yadumin. There is silence as light enters your hand. And for a brief moment, you all hear ching as Leuven's eyes shoot open and air returns to his lungs.
I take a gasping breath. Bolt up if I have the energy. And I fall back to just hands and knees for a moment, and then stagger to my feet again.
The pillar that Boulder was on lowers to the ground as he comes to inspect you.
Where is he?
He is gone, my friend. And he'll gesture towards the body that is beside you.
Is everyone safe?
For now.
You are all alive. Thank you. I could not have handled that by myself.
We almost didn't either.
It dawns on me finally that you revived me, and Auric, I give you a big hug. After a few moments, I let go and regain some of my composure. Oh, that hurt.
I would like to inspect the Fortuneborn's body.
I will allow you to do all the inspections, search the battlefield for what's left, and I will send to all of you the various things you get, and so you can decide what you want to do with it. But you search the battlefield and find Fortuneborn's forces are gone. You recover the weapons, the armor, whatever they have on their person. Boulder then, after directing everybody, just tells you, I'm going to attempt to reach out to the Lady of Spirits and see if there's any response. Last I heard, the attacks were happening simultaneously. So, if you wish a moment, recover, rest. Whatever's on the bodies are yours to keep. And he goes and he seems to sit and meditate just outside his home. Cloudfarer is limping on the ground. You see one of its wings is nearly torn off. Its metallic casing around its chest is caved in. And even one of its legs is bent in a slightly awkward angle.
I do look over briefly at Cloudfarer's condition, and I kind of mutter, might have to rethink some elements of the design, but it's a good alpha test.
After a bit of time, Boulder opens his eyes and seems to sadly gesture you to please come to him. I've reached out, and there is an emptiness where the Lady of Spirits' domain is. That is a bad sign. Her lands are not claimed, but I do not believe it will remain so for much longer. The only way it would happen this quickly is if she is unable to hold claim.
Is it possible she could have severed the tie and escaped, or...?
Not this quickly. It's too short of a time span.
Is there anything else that could have severed the tie for her?
Not that I'm aware of.
It seems like we can assume the worst.
Yes. All the more reason to continue to guard my domain and do what I can here. Elaine, I have an enormous favor of you. You have commented on interest in the guardianship before. It comes with territory that you can shape to your liking. Maybe bring some of that sea that you enjoy so much to the land here. But I need help. The Lady of Spirits, Vashti, and I created a sort of wall from the various more aggressive guardians to the west. If the Lady of Spirits is gone, as it seems to be, I could use some aid in helping prevent such forces from continuing an eastward march. I can train you to become a guardian of the Regorum and have lands of your own. It would take time, but you would have a place that you can protect many others from outside these dangerous woods, not to mention a good deal of power to throw around when you need to.
Well, if it means protecting those back home, I think that's where I should probably, or where I could focus my powers on. I think it could be beneficial, for sure.
The one drawback, and I want to make sure this is clear, is once you have established your connection, this is your home.
I would kind of nod slowly, just letting it sink in. Well, I don't have much to go back to. I mean, my family would take me in if I wanted to go back home. But like I said, if I can protect them from here, keep those to the west at bay, I think that'd be a pretty good use of my talents.
I know you were successful in closing the portal to the abyss that the champion was forming, but whatever forces he still has are out there. I can't imagine he'll just leave them sitting there. So what say I teach you how to bind yourself to the land. It'll take time, but between the two of us, I don't see why we can't hold that chaotic abomination at bay.
I think we would make really good allies. And then I'll turn and look to Auric and Leuven. I know we are going to be traveling together, but I might be needed more here. So, I mean, how do you feel about it?
If you believe this is your calling, I won't stop you.
You'll always be a part of Rumble Squad, and, it might not hurt for us to have an ally in this region. If this is what's calling to you, I think you should go for it.
Well, I guess it's settled. I will be, look back to Boulder, working with you, and hopefully we can, I guess, would be focusing on claiming the Fortuneborn's territory for you, and then eventually passing to me, I'm guessing?
Between the two of us, we can start to expand my own territory outwards, both towards the Fortuneborns of the southwest, perhaps even more to the east as well. Create a sort of barrier around Vashti's own territory. Make sure nothing gets through that way. Then you can take what territory, as we've expanded it, for yourself, and bring a little bit of some water elemental energies, as that clearly is the element you prefer, to the Rigorum.
I think it would be good to have a nice lake.
The chaotic powers that seem to permeate the Rigorum can be molded as long as you have the will to do so. I can teach you. The rest of you, you're free to remain on my lands for as long as you require. I know you wish to travel through the elemental portal to Earth. I will, as promised, prepare that for you, but again, that will take time, for I want to keep the protective barriers intact while still allowing you passage. It will manipulate the magics, but after a few weeks, you can pass through safely, and nothing that's too aggressive and hostile from that side will be able to pass through while I am doing this.
I, for one, could really use a long rest, so, yeah, please take all the time you need to make it safe.
There's things that we can do before heading over there anyways.
Then, Elaine, I suppose showing you how to begin to bind to the land and create protective magics is our first step in training, but thank you again, Rumble Squad.
I'm glad we could make a difference. I'm just sorry we couldn't do more. And I look in the direction of the Lady of Spirits lands.
He follows your gaze. You do what you can, save who you can, and make sure the next time doesn't happen again, if you can help it, right?
Solemn nod back.
We're only mortals, after all. How about some food?
That sounds wonderful.
And that's where we're going to leave the story today. Leuven reflects on this adventure in a letter to one of his pen pals.
2. Schult Cannonwell, Port City of Amaran. Nebrasol Network Standard Shipping. From Leuven Cromdell. 14 Leif Nui, year 322. Hi, Schult. You know how they say that history doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes? Well, I resemble that remark. You were the first person I ever wrote to in the network. You've been with me since the very beginning, at least since as far back as I want to remember, and now you're the first person that I'm writing to in my new life. That's right. I died in battle today by the Fortuneborn's own hand. Auric promptly revived me, but I can already tell that I'll never be quite the same in my approach to magic, or to life itself. Okay, so technically I started by drafting a partial letter to Dahlia, my distant cousin that I've mentioned. You know that family tree project of hers? Well, in a moment of total despair, I somehow thought it would be appropriate to write her an autobiographical obituary to include in the project. It contains some real choice lines like, Leuven Cromdell died as he lived, a failure who was never quite enough. Actually, that's about when I stopped cold, got up from my work table, and tossed the venomous letter into the forge. Through misfortune reborn, I might be, but that does not mean I get to let it beat me. I refuse to let my pain and my imperfections define me. I've come too far for that now. So, instead, in the infancy of this repurposed existence, I'm reaching out to you. Our conversations are so optimistic, nostalgic, comfortable, and I can't think of a better way to begin anew. Schult, I know you haven't died before, but as a city guard in between all the petty thefts and bar fights and public indecencies, you've probably stumbled across death. Scenarios like the brutal murder of a civilian, an accidental drowning of a tourist, or perhaps even the loss of someone you knew personally, such as a fellow guard. May I ask you to tell me a little more about some of those experiences and how you managed to hold on to who you were? It seems clear to me that the rigors of your job haven't beaten you, and I'd like to follow in your example. Friends forever. Leuven.
Thank you all for listening. Please share this with your friends and follow us on Twitter at RulesAsWritten, or check out our website, dndraw.com, and feel free to email any questions to the DM at dndraw.com. Also subscribe and leave us a review or comments anywhere podcasts are found, and please check out our Patreon at patreon.com/dndraw. See ya!